What if the best thing you could do for your child was to make them cry? When I was in third grade, I tried out for football. I had always wanted to play. My dad played football growing up. My uncles played football. I was excited to do it. And so the first day of practice, I missed, and the second. In fact, my first day was the third day of practice because in my world, things never really went very smoothly. So when I finally showed up on day three, things were harder than I expected. I walked down the hill onto the field where everybody was practicing. And one of the first things I noticed was how big everybody else was. I didn't know it at the time. I found out all the kids were third, fourth, fifth, and sixth graders together. Since I was in third grade, I was smaller than everybody else, and it scared me. The second thing that happened is since it was the third day of practice, everybody else sort of knew what was going on, and I felt overwhelmed. I didn't know what to do. I remember looking around and one of the coaches saying, "Get out there, let's go." So I went out there. I knew how to play at least a little bit from watching football with my dad. So when I jumped off sides, which means I moved before the ball did, my coach yelled at the guy next to me because he thought it was me. And so on the car ride home, when my mom asked me how it went, I began to cry. And when I did, she said, "Well, what's wrong?" And I told her those three things. I said, everybody else is bigger than me. I didn't know what to do. And kids were getting in trouble and it was actually my fault. And they're going to get mad at me. I don't want to go back no more. And so she said, okay. She was a single mom raising three kids. I was hard enough to deal with. And if I didn't want to do something, I could make it hard on you, especially if you're the one having to drive me there anyway. But here's what happened. Because I felt so small, I waited until I was in sixth grade before I played again because I wanted to be the biggest kid on the field. In middle school, we also had seventh and eighth graders play together. And guess what? I didn't play my seventh grade, but I did play my eighth grade because I was afraid. And then I didn't play freshman, sophomore, junior until I was a senior in high school. I played 1 year of high school football and I absolutely loved it, but I wanted to wait until I was the biggest. I only played 3 years of football my entire life. Fear had been sown in my heart and it would not let me go. Even to this day, those feelings that set the foundation of my heart rise up when I want to start something new. I get afraid that because I'm not the biggest or the best out there, I don't belong. So I'm going to teach you 4 steps you can follow to help your kids follow through even when it's hard. Number 1, count the cost before you commit. The first way you teach follow through is by helping your child, your students think before they start. Before the project, the sign-ups, the activity, sit down and ask this. How much time will it take? What will it feel like when it gets hard? And what might you have to give up to see this through? In fact, it was written long ago, which of you intending to build a tower doesn't first sit down and count the cost? That's the principle here. This habit of pre-deciding guards against impulsive commitments and half-hearted efforts. Step 2, teach them the power of commitment. Once they've counted the cost and decided to start, now it's time to have the strength when your child doesn't. Because your child's not going to want to follow through all the time, and they don't have to. I tell my kids all the time, but you don't have to want to do it. You just need to do it. Wanting is temporary. Keeping your word is about character. The feeling of motivation fades. The excitement of new wears off. That's when your job as a parent, the teacher, the coach matters most. When your child says, "I don't feel like doing it," maybe even with tears in their eyes, you say, "I understand, but we gave our word and we finished what we start." And then step 3 is to equip them with the words and the tools they need at the right time. Follow through isn't always about discipline. It's about empowerment. So if you sign up your child for football, don't leave them stranded without transportation. You take them a few times at first, help them to get started and say, okay, now it's your job to get there. I'm going to help you get a bike. I'm going to help you plan ahead by calling a friend. I'm going to help you set an alarm so that you take ownership. Don't do all these things for them. Help them get moving forward, of course, but then slowly release your hands. Just like when you teach a child how to ride a bike, you might at first hold on to the back of the bike, but then you got to let it go. Even if they fall, that's okay. You're there to help pick them back up, not prevent them from falling. Oh man, that's a good one. Go back, press the 15-second rewind, watch that part again. And before the last step, let me ask you, if you haven't yet followed or liked this video, be sure to do so now. And step 4, this is the part that most people won't teach you. Once you've fulfilled your commitment, it's okay to quit. You've heard winners never quit and quitters never win. Well, that's simply just not true. You know what winners quit? They quit doing things that don't work. The point is, before you start, set a time limit. 1 semester, 1 season, 1 project. And then when you're done, sit down and ask yourself these 3 questions. Did we do what we said we would do? Were we faithful to our word, giving all that we had to what we were doing? We don't want to do things halfway ever. And how did we grow as we went through this process? You want to gather up these experiences so that you can apply them to the next endeavor that you have in your life. Then you can move on. That's not quitting, that's gratitude. Be grateful for this experience by gathering it in, learning from it, and deciding purposefully whether you're going to continue with it. Now, to take the next step, click the link in the description for your free toolkit. It's 2 parts. It gives you a printable checklist and a count the cost worksheet that you can walk through with your child, because less chaos, more learning doesn't happen on accident. Be blessed.